you can only control what you can control. And GravyStack helps you control a lot, like of your time and energy and resources to help your kids grow. But then you have to let the results go. You have to let God take over. You have to let go. You can't control all the results.
Smart money parenting.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Smart Money Parenting. Got my buddy here, Chad. How's it going, Chad?
Let's go. I'm excited to be here. We got a great show today, man. It's going to be good.
And we have just overcome a 26-month obstacle, nightmare, war in the development of the world's first bank and investment app for kids and teens that plays like a game. And it's called GravyStack. We've talked about it before. We're finally there. We
should mention that GravyStack is the sponsor of our show. So thanks to GravyStack, we even have this show for all of you to listen to.
Yeah. Thank you, GravyStack. The team is amazing. There's a whole army of parents building this thing. This is built for parents, for kids, for their kids. So that's the difference with us and anybody else. Like, this is a bunch of families that are like, we got to fix this for our kids and create the home economy. So yeah, we just submitted last night, the last build to the App Store, and we're about to hit the ground running to the whole world. So it's been an incredible ride. I cannot wait for people to try this, Chad.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be amazing. Parents and kids alike. I mean, my kids, as you know, Scott, I have 3 teenagers and then an 8 and a 7-year-old, and the teenagers love it. Like, they're in beta, they're having a good time. They're just excited for it to be live. They want to share with their friends, which gives me and you a lot of confidence, Scott, that this is something that's going to hit the mark. You know, we're testing it and they like it. And that's what matters.
Even with all the bugs we've had for the last 5-6 months. So we've been testing it for about almost 6 months now. You know, when we launched the very first beta, it was like nothing worked. Just a few of the games, the gigs didn't work. The money didn't flow right, all these issues. But now we've beat it all out, fixed it all, cleaned it up, added a ton of features based on the family's feedbacks. And now we've got the first home economy system that's a game for kids. It's a bank and a game in one. So, oh man, I think one of the things, we're not just going to celebrate GravyStack, because for me, this is a milestone. I feel like it's been 26 months of an uphill sprint.
Absolutely.
And I'm so thankful we're here. You know, you've been here since the beginning.
This is exciting. It's exciting seeing it come from just the idea stage to actual tangible for kids and families to actually dig in and start changing the way they view the world and the way they learn, the way they develop skills, the way they basically build financial competency for their future. This is exciting, Scott.
Look at this. If you're watching this, you
there
can
it is. That's
see
cool.
all of our team. We had a huge celebration yesterday, all 30 of us. And people are breathing a sigh of relief. They're super excited. We're hitting the starting line after a marathon. But it's going to be fun, man. The parents have said, this is the first time my kid has stopped asking me for money, ever. Because the home economy system with expectations, expenses, and extra pay, this automating, rotating system where they get their printouts and it's all there. They're like, my kid stopped asking me for money. They know how to make it and cover their expenses from here on out. That's an incredible thing to hear.
Yeah, what a feeling for parents to be able to say that, right?
Yep. They've also said, this is the first time my kid will do this stuff because it's fun. It's intrinsically motivating. I have such a battle with them doing chores and nagging them over and over with the same cycles of, frustration.
Right.
This is the first time that they're self-motivated to do it.
That's pretty stellar. I saw a review where parents said, I'm not nagging my kids to do stuff anymore. Like, they do it because they want to. And that's exciting, is when you flip it from like parents pushing down to kids, and it's kids being incentivized and motivated to actually achieve things on their own. That's a real mindset shift in the family that I think we're very excited about. But today we're talking about 5 nightmares that every parent has and how to combat that, right, Scott?
Absolutely. And, we don't want to give the spoiler, but when we started GravyStack, this was like, if we can nail these 5, parents' lives just got way easier.
Game changer.
And we help them connect with their kids in a way they never were able to before, right? So that's the real, the best businesses in the world are solving deep needs and pain points for the customer. That's the benefit you're giving to people. And if you can do that, you win. And I've never been a fan of just selling stuff for the sake of selling stuff. You should only, like, I can't sell something I don't like believe in, like die hard believe in. And so now that we've nailed these 5, but we have to talk about the 5 so that parents can like figure out how to help themselves in these issues. So you want to go through these with me?
Yes, let's do it. Why don't you start us off?
All right. The 5 nightmares that all parents struggle with their kids when it comes to their kids. First one is overwhelm. Basically, the relentless demands of a bustling household and a hectic schedule and work. It's very difficult to have time to teach their kids, to connect with their kids, to really dive deep with their kids, right? They spend all their time just keeping them alive. I think overwhelm is a very, very difficult thing.
Very relatable.
It's people are busy, man. The world is getting busier and more access at the, you think that life got easier when your smartphone got smarter. No,
Right.
It just means that your attention and your interest is being grabbed all the time. And it's a time suck for a lot of people.
To talk about hectic schedule, I mean, for us, we got 5 kids and everyone's playing 2 sports. I mean, it's a hectic schedule is an understatement. We've had Saturdays where we had 11 games a few Saturdays ago.
11?
In 4 cities. We had 11 separate games in 4 different cities. And so you talk about overwhelm and hectic schedule. I mean, that's just our lifestyle right now. So
Incredible.
I understand that nightmare for sure.
But here's the thing, like one of the best tips about this is when you're busy, the important things can't fall, right? This is our best tip for families. When you have overwhelm, you have to focus on what's most important for your family. Focus on what's most important for your kids' health, their mental health, their spiritual health, their physical health, connecting with your kids, building a relationship with your kids, with your spouse, connecting with them, being unified together if you're married. Like when things get crazy, write down what are my top 3 that are most important right now. That's a critical piece. And go ahead. I know you're going to say something.
No, I was just thinking to myself, like for us, I'm thinking to myself, my own routines, like when do I do that? And maybe some of you out there relate to this, but I do that in the car when I'm driving my kids to their practices and their activities. Like there's so many times I just turn the music off. My older kids, I'll ask them to put the cell phone down and say, hey, let's just have a chat. We got a 15, 20, 30-minute drive to practice. And that's when I connect because I know that I have their attention. They're not doing anything else. And so I just think to myself, like, what are the opportunities I have to have real conversations with my kids? And that's what matters. Like you said, the connection and understanding where they're at, what's going on in their lives, looking them in the eyes and saying, hey, what's going on right now? Like, what's hard? What can I help you with? I think that's critical, though. Like you said, Scott, is that when we're overwhelmed, keep the core, the rocks, the critical objectives front and center, because we're not going to be able to get to the fringe goals. It's going to be just really the core that we can make sure gets done.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times parents press that easy button. I'm just going to turn on a show for the kids.
Yeah.
I'm just going to numb out, right? I'll have that drink, right? Like they press the easy button. And I think when overwhelm comes, it's time to focus on priorities that are at the core most important to you and get your energy and your vitality and all these things from those core. My relationship with God, my wife, my kids, my health. That's what you have to focus on instead of just pressing the easy button and numbing out. You go on what's good and what's healthy. And, people ask, why is GravyStack a big solve for that? Well, GravyStack is a home economy system that removes so much of that overwhelm with your kids. So much of the overwhelm of how are you going to pay for things? How are your kids learning these things? How are you going to provide for things? GravyStack has the home economy system where kids know how to make money around the house and keep you from getting overwhelmed.
They also know the expectations.
That's right. They know how to get things done. They have a system. They have a routine. I think a lot of parents really feel like their kids are liabilities instead of assets, chat, because they think, if only my kids would do X, my life would be easier. If only they would help me with this. Well, guess what? You can train them to help you with that. How many times are you picking up after them? You're making their bed, doing their laundry, You're doing all these things that your kids can be self-sufficient and actually help you. What if your 12-year-old made dinner for everybody? Or at least cut the food up, chopped up all the veggies and the meats, like, or the dishes being done. You can actually have less overwhelm by going through this home economy system. And it frees you up to have a better relationship and more time and energy for your kids. That's the point. Okay. Put them to work. Help them become an asset, not a liability. You and I talk about this a lot, man.
Yeah, and I would add to that, Scott, schedule what matters. So when you talk about your hectic schedule and you're overwhelmed as a parent, we get that. Something that I've found helpful is scheduling stuff. If I put something on my Google Calendar, it's a commitment and it's going to happen. If I have to adjust the time, I'll adjust the time. But if it's on the calendar, I treat it seriously. So if you have something important in the family that you want to get done and you're feeling overwhelmed, put it on the schedule and make that commitment so that you've got some time set aside to really make it happen. Yep. What's the second nightmare that parents have?
Well, I gotta say this one real quick. Our printout for the fridge for GravyStack has all the expectations for the kids, has all the expenses that they're going to cover themselves, and all the extra pay opportunities, the gigs. That is the perfect conversation starter throughout the week to help yourself keep from overwhelm and burnout. So it's clarity there. So clarity. It's like what you said, you're scheduling it. It's literally like a schedule. It's right here for you. Here's the calendar for the week. So that's the first one. Second one is guilt. Parent guilt. When kids, they give in a lot. Parents really struggle. They feel guilty that they're not teaching their kids a lot of the right skills to be successful in the real world. I think deep down, a lot of parents know that they're trying to outsource the parenting to the school system. They're trying to outsource it to the youth group. They're trying to outsource it to the camp or the coach, when in reality, a lot of these things, they can only be learned inside the home under the roof. And that's a lot of guilt for parents, especially when it comes to finances and financial competency and like practical real world skills. Parents just like, they don't go there. They just don't. And then deep down before bed every night, they get this inkling and they're like, man, I wish I could have talked about this.
So how would you say the GravyStack app helps solve that nightmare number 2 for parents, Scott?
Well, think about when you give your kids money. Like, this is a big one for teenagers, especially. They're always asking for stuff. It's like, I need $20 for this, Dad. I need $50 for this. I need this, Mom. If you can set up a system where they learn how to create the value and earn the money to cover their own expenses and plan ahead, it saves everybody from this. It's basically matching the real world that they're going to enter. And then there's not that guilt around it anymore. Because when your kids ask for money, it's a lose-lose, Chad.
Yeah.
If you give in and you give it money, that's a guilt feeling. It's like, I just failed because I just gave
it. Just give it to them. It's just easier.
Or I'm bribing them, or I'm coercing them, or I'm just trying to buy their love. Okay, I don't want to have the fight. Here's the $20. But then if you say no, you're the bad guy. So that's guilt and frustration as well. It's actually a lack of system training. So like we've said before, all punishment is actually a lack of training, right?
Right.
For us, a way to remove yourself from a lot of that guilt, and that's a lot of the guilt. Will my kids make it? Did I do enough? I failed in these areas. We want you to be working on a system for your kids, a system for them to be self-sufficient, a system for them to have personal responsibility, taking ownership of their life. You shouldn't feel guilty for a kid who's taking ownership of their life. That is the true goal. You want them to be healthy, happy, free, loving individuals. Set up that system, and it removes so much of that just guilt and shame and fear. So that's a big issue that we can solve for families just by setting up the GravyStack method.
I mean, that's exciting. I feel like that by us providing that through the GravyStack app, parents have a burden lifted off their shoulders. I would think that's one of the greatest benefits is like, okay, someone's gone through it. They understand me. And that's an also benefit of GravyStack being created by a bunch of parents, like we get it.
We get it.
Between me and you alone, we got 2 families, 9 kids total. Lots of our investors.
0 to 18. 0 to 18.
Yes, 0 to 18. We have founders and investors and board members who have lots of kids, big families. So we actually are creating this to really benefit you out there who have families, who have kids. We understand you. We're not just tech nerds in a back room who've never dealt as parents. So we feel these feelings just like you.
Yeah.
And that's where GravyStack is really been born.
Exactly. And the third fear is similar. The fear, parent fear, always fearing that my kid's not enough, that they're behind. Right. Are they ahead? Will they be successful? Will they have the skills to make it? Did I do enough? There's just a lot of fear.
And Scott, my daughter graduates high school in 3 days. Like I even think about that. I'm like, man, you naturally have to question, like, have I done enough? Is this it? Are they going to still come back to me and have these conversations that we've been having? What could I do better? Or also, like, where did we really succeed as parents? Where do we feel like we really made an impact, and how can we improve upon that for our other children? So I think this is a very natural thing to have a little bit of fear of, are our kids going to be independent and productive? Are they going to be emotionally healthy and happy? Are they ready to succeed now that we're letting them go after high school?
And I don't think parents have to have this fear. Now, some of the fear instinct is good. It's like, hey, don't touch that. Don't fall in the water and drown. Like, don't run into the street. Okay, that's a good, healthy, like, survival instinct. But we're talking about, like, the deep fears that you can't control of their future. A lot of parents are like, they're deeply scared of that. They're like, I really want them to not meet that person I met when I was younger in my 20s. How do I get them to avoid this? I don't want them to have to deal with these things. And the way that you can help with that is by setting up the environment. Focus on what you can control, which is your time with your kids. You can focus on the system at home to help your kids succeed, to become independent, become free thinking, like value creation mindset, right? You can control helping them from being spoiled, right? Sure. Those are things that you can help that reduces your fear. And the best advice I think we can give you is, you can only control what you can control. And GravyStack helps you control a lot, like, of your time and energy and resources to help your kids grow. But then you have to let the results go. You have to let God take over. You have to let go. You can't control all the results. And that is what can actually take away a lot of the guilt and fear and shame, is like, you know what? We're doing the best that we know how. We're doing the best with the resources in front of us. And then we just let them go. And then we got to stop fearing their future.
Yeah, fear is something that will be passed down. I think the more fear just shows that we're unprepared and we maybe haven't done the work ahead of time. And so the more prepared we can be, and I think that's what we're really hoping to achieve with our parents in the GravyStack world, is giving everyone tools and resources to feel ready, to feel prepared, to feel successful, and to know that your kids have so many resources and opportunities to grow and learn. And it's all right there, ready-made for you. That's the exciting part, is like, we're going to take a lot of that stress of, where do I start? What do I do? What do my kids need to be learning to make sure they're going to be independent when they grow up? And this is just solving that issue for you.
We had a mom we were talking to yesterday about our messaging and about the app. We just read her the first 5 lines of what we do. And she's like, can I stop you there? Where do I go to get this right now? And I was like, oh, this lady gets it. She's got 4 boys.
Yeah.
And I said, why? And she's like, because this fills the hole we were worried about.
Really?
This stops the fear right there in its tracks.
Awesome.
And I was like, well, what do you want for the kids? Because I'm diving in. I'm like, What is it that you really want for them? And she said, I want them to have good money skills, because money is this Trojan horse that when you can remove the fear and the scarcity mindset and all these issues around money, you actually then get deeper. You get a deeper life. You get more freedom, more happiness, more connection, more purpose that you can pursue. We talk about this all the time: freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom to have the relationships you want, and the freedom for purpose. And so she just said it right away. And I was like, wow, that means that the app is working. It means that like it makes sense. So
the messaging is connecting.
Yeah. And I should probably say this before we go to our last 2 nightmares. We don't just have successful parents in GravyStack. Every parent has had failures. Okay. We actually have some parents that their kids are now in their 20s and they're struggling.
Right.
Like some of our investors and some of our employees and some of our beta parents are like, yeah, I got older kids. We're going to start over and go through this together, because it's never too late. You're never a failure. It's just, you're only a failure if you give up, right? Like, you're a parent till the day you leave this earth. And so,
and that's what I think, is that a lot of parents are saying, hey, can I use this with my kids who are in college? And it's like, of course you can. Like, these principles are timeless. So we hope that you'll take whatever you can take that fits your exact life stage right now with your kids.
Yep.
That's what we're excited about. So what's fear number 4, Scott?
Fear number 4 is the time is ticking.
Yeah, that's
for me
a
to
tough
have
one.
for me to have a deep relationship. This is a nightmare a lot of parents have. Is like, I woke, the days are long, the years are short.
Anyone who has kids feels that. You see your kid have another birthday, or look at pictures from 3 years ago and you're like, what the heck is going on? How are my kids growing so fast?
Yeah. And Reagan had her 7th birthday yesterday. And I was like, where did that time go? Oh my goodness. She's in it. And it's like, she's in school and she's in sports and she's at friends' house and playing. And it's like, I'm worried for the day that daddy-daughter cuddle time is not something she wants anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm long past that. My almost 19-year-old is not cuddling.
No. So I'm going to take it every second I can with it.
Enjoy it, man. What's that stat? 93% of shared time between parents and kids happens before their 18th birthday.
Yeah. And I think the real fear here is, it's coming, the time is ticking, and you want to have the best relationship. That's the real nightmare. Is like, I have to be the parent, but I also want to be close to these kids.
I want to be a friend, but I want to be a parent. That's a good balance, right?
That's the real struggle. And I think that's the fear and the nightmare of a lot of parents here is, I want a deep relationship. Time is ticking. There's so much going on. How do I get there? And so, GravyStack, people think they've said before, they're like, oh, this is great, this home economy system and blah, blah. But listen, this was built by parents. The purpose of GravyStack is to remove the obstacles so that you can have a deeper relationship with your kid.
Yeah, this gets a lot of that. It takes away like the homework stuff from between parent and child. It's like takes away the hard stuff and says, we're going to work on this together. We're not going to fight about it. Here's the system. Let's work on it together.
Right.
And let's be on the same team instead of me and you bargaining and fighting back and forth and nagging each other.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, I need $20. Instead of looking bad either way, you say yes or no. It's like, all right, let's look at the calendar. Let's look at the gigs. Let's go.
What's available? Let's see what I can help you with.
That's right. It removes the coercion. It removes the buying love. It removes the conflict around so much of that's going on in the home, that you're now free to have a deeper relationship with your kids. And that's the critical key is, as they grow older, you need to move from like parent guardian to coach friend. Right. You moved in this direction where you have this deeper relationship. You want your kids to reach back up for your hand. Mark Tim told us this. He's like, they hold your hand till they're like 7 to 12, and then they let go, and they're independent and they're finding their way. And then you want them at 18 to 20 to be like, reach back up for that hand. That's the dream. And that's the fear that the nightmare that they're having is like, I want them to reach back up for my hand. And a lot of that is removing these obstacles that are in the way of that, right? Especially with older kids. You don't want your kids to be like never calling you. Right. You don't want your kids to be like moving away right away and never coming home for holidays or visits or hanging out in the same city. You don't want your kids to wait until you die to get your house and your money. That's the nightmare, right? So GravyStack removes all that setup. It's actually GravyStack is the fastest and way to get the right legacy with your kids. Instead of people thinking my legacy is leaving a house for my kids and a bunch of money. No,
right. That's not it.
It's relationship. So that's number 4. Number 5, the nightmare of nagging.
Frustration and nagging. Yeah, that's not good. Just battling over the same old issues that you're dealing with, and kids aren't motivated. You're nagging them and bugging them, and it's just this whole constant tug and pull with the kids. Like, come on, do your stuff. No, I don't want to. Like, it's going nowhere fast.
Yeah, we talked to a mom the other day, and she basically said it's exhausting to nag. It's the same cycles with the kids, with the same chores, the same homework, the same toys not being picked up.
Asking them 10 times, can you please take the trash out? Can you please put the dishes away?
Are you first time following or not? Listen, like these character traits, really, at the end of the day, it overwhelms and exhausts parents. It's that nagging. It's this constant emotional drain when your kids are rebelling, struggling, manipulating, pitting mom and dad against each other. And so, there's a lot that can be done there. But I think the main benefit that GravyStack gives is it removes that nagging principle. It gets you out of those negative cycles and into a really simple home economy system where the kids are learning this personal responsibility. They're learning to take care of what they need to do, right? They're wanting independence. Like most kids, if you ask them, what do you want? When you get to the heart of the matter, they want the independence. They want to be productive themselves and have the freedom from mom and dad. And a lot of that comes from trust and doing what you say you're going to do over and over and showing that you're personally responsible with things around the house, with your friends, with your schoolwork. That's how you can get independence. And that's what GravyStack gives. It's that system of independence for kids.
That hunger starts when they're like 2 years old and they start saying, I did it all by myself. I did it by myself. Look what I did by myself.
Yep.
And I think what you just said is a great way to describe the app GravyStack. It's a system for kids' independence. Like it is literally a system for kids' independence. And,
yep.
and that's a benefit to both you as parents and to your kids. It's going to really lift that burden and those strained parts of your relationship as a parent and give you just more freedom to be friends and to be closer, because the whole struggle of chores and work and expectations and how do I get money, like it's actually, that hassle is gone for you if you're using the GravyStack app. It's
right.
gone.
Yep. So people need a stress-free system in the home, right? And I think the real key here is it's a system that kids want to follow and they enjoy doing. That's why it's gamified. Sure. That's why we have the 100 financial games and they're playing with their friends and they're doing these things in the home. It gives parents that break. It gets rid of the stress and the frustration. The
if the kids don't want to do it, it's useless. If the kids don't want to log into the app, it's useless. That's like, it has to be motivated intrinsically from the kids.
That's right. So yeah, so there you go. That's the 5 major nightmares. I got to read this last line in the copy for GravyStack. I just love it. It's the app is 23 cents a day, by the way. And if you can't afford it, we got scholarships. So if you qualify, which if you need it, we'll help you, because we want
23 cents a day. I mean, that is to change your family's life. 23 cents a day is doable. I hope it's doable.
Not to mention families are saving like $550 in the first couple of weeks by playing the games, but we will help families that need it. But this line is so good. It's like for 23 cents a day, give your kids true financial happiness and give yourself a break. Get GravyStack.
Ooh, that's nice.
And I was like, oh, that's so good. That's so good.
I like it.
That's what we want all parents to know. Like, we're in this to help. We're in this as a team with you. Thanks, guys, for listening. It's a little bit longer today because these nightmares, I think people really care about, and they want to be relieved of the kind of the pain and the burden of them. And so I think that's what we're going to do here with this app. And so, yeah, thanks GravyStack for sponsoring. And
yes. Thank you to our sponsor. And
we're not being paid to share this.
No. We're able to give this show to you guys every single week because of GravyStack. So if you haven't already downloaded the app, get on there and share it with friends.
If you guys want to get GravyStack, you can go to gravystack.com/smart. And then we'll know that you came through the episode, and that helps us out to know who's using our app. So go to gravystack.com/smart, sign up for the app today, 23 cents a day. And we hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you in there. All right, guys, if you have a question for us, you know where to go, smartmoneyparenting.com. We'd love to showcase it on the show. And just thanks for all the feedback too. I know a lot of you listening are using the app. They're beta testers. You've really helped us get to this point. Most people that are in our beta are listening to our show every week. And so just thank you guys. I mean, you're all family members, you're all parents, all the kids listening. You guys really made this what it is, and we could not have done this without you, not even close. So
amen to that.
We really appreciate all the support, and 50 million kids, here we go.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
It takes more than money if you want to succeed. You gotta know what to do with it. You gotta take the lead. You gotta give them confidence. You gotta make them smart. If your kids are gonna thrive, now's the time to start. Smart money parenting.